The Trap offers us a unique murder case where the murder never actually happened. Directed by Michael J. Fox, written by Scott Alexander, and shot by Robert Draper. Based on a story from Shock Suspense Stories number 18. This story takes us on the run from the typical love triangle formula, while the show fleshes out the relationships from the comic. Matt and Irene Hull have been in their new home for only a month, and are going through hard times. He's considering cashing out on his life insurance, but Irene protests. In the show, an angered Lou comes home to Irene with news that he's lost his job. Bad timing since they're so behind on their bills. Irene is worried, which only upsets Lou's temper even more. Lou's life insurance is in danger of being cut off by an insurance rep who sounds like an Edward G. Robinson knockoff.
We got some big problems, see?
Lou, this is bad. He said that they're going to cancel your life insurance policy if he doesn't get a payment from you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Neff. Lou Paloma here.
So you're gonna pay or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you.
I'm not so sure, see?
Haven't I always?
Why don't you get a job, you bum?
Hey, you can't talk to me like that. This is Lou Paloma you're talking to.
You can't talk to me like that. Listen, we
yeah?
own you, mister. We own
yeah,
you.
well, blow me, pal.
See?
Scumbag! Jesus, you give him money your whole life, and the one time you really need it.
This gives him an idea. He calls his brother Billy at the morgue. In the comic, it's Irene with the scheme. She would rather have the two of them walk away with the entire life insurance payout while Matt is still alive. She's been hatching a plan with Mr. Grover, the local undertaker, and he's coming over this morning to meet with them. The idea is to fake Matt's death. Mr. Grover will confirm with the police that Matt is in fact dead, as he sports a fake stab wound to the heart. The catch is that Mr. Grover wants a quarter of the payout. Matt agrees to the proposal. Grover insists that Matt disguises himself around town into the day of his fake death. Then, once all this is over, he can reassume his natural appearance. Lou's strategy is exactly the same, but his wife and brother feel uneasy about the whole thing. Irene and Billy eventually go along with it, after Lou is a complete sleaze to them.
If you don't help me, I'll tell Ma you ripped off her retirement money.
But I took out that money for you.
I never saw any of it. That's what I'll say. Besides, you're the one who manages it for her. She'll want to know, why is your name on all the withdrawal slips?
Jesus, Lou, how low can you go?
As low as I have to, baby. Hey, I'm doing this for you. I want to get you out of this dump. Picture me and you on a beach in Rio. I can get you that Cousinart you always wanted. Isn't that what you deserve?
Yes, but I don't want to have to commit a crime to get it.
Well, you both better get used to the idea, because we're doing it.
Donning a mustache and glasses, Matt's neighbors get used to his altered appearance. Meanwhile, Matt prepares with the Undertaker. Mr. Grover gets to play makeup artist as he applies the fake wound to Matt's chest. That night on the lawn, Matt lays down as Mr. Grover pours real blood on him. Matt tosses a bloody knife onto the road and his wallet into the bushes. He lies perfectly still, and that is when Irene screams as loud as she can, waking everybody up. It's not long before the neighbors, police, and Mr. Grover arrive at the scene. Grover confirms to Chief McClane that Matt is dead. The bloody knife and empty wallet are found nearby. There is no convincing the neighbors of any false identity in the episode. Lou and company jump right into faking his murder. As they get things ready, Irene has her doubts, but Billy is there to reassure her of what needs to be done.
All you have to do is remember the story. You came home and you found Lou. As he was dying, he told you he walked in on a burglar. They struggled and the burglar stabbed him. You called me because I'm your brother-in-law and because I'm a doctor. I came over here and I called the police.
And then what happens?
I don't know. We'll drive off that bridge when we come to it.
Billy gets Lou all fixed up and tries to figure out where to place the murder weapon.
Now, where would the burglar have left the murder weapon?
I don't know. By the door, maybe?
Careful, Irene. Fingerprints.
Oh, for crying out loud, he threw the thing. Let's get this show on the road.
Not thinking he'll be able to pull off being dead, Lou gives Irene the go-ahead to knock him out. And he does not shy away from how terrible he actually is to her.
I can't do that.
Oh, come on, a free shot, baby. Payback for all the times I slapped you around.
No, Lou, please.
Hey, you know I didn't come home last month? I said I was doing that security thing.
Yeah?
I was balling Betty LaRue in the back room of the beauty bar.
My best friend?
Yeah, your best friend. I must have fucked her for, oh, jeez. Oh, Irene, that's really weak, especially when you consider how many times I fucked her.
Now it's showtime. Chief McClane is convinced this is a robbery that ended in tragedy. He swears to catch whoever did this. Mrs. Vincent, one of the neighbors, accompanies Irene at the funeral home to view Matt's body. Irene's sobbing distracts Mrs. Vincent just long enough for Grover to sneak Matt out of the coffin, before wheeling it into the furnace for cremation. Afterwards, the three schemers have a little celebration. In the show, it's Lou and Billy's mother and McClane who view the body. After the funeral, Billy and Irene have a celebration of their own, but Lou's mother barges in before things get too hot.
He's getting out of here.
Let go! Where is she? Where is that trashy defunct marriage?
She's hysterical, convinced that her oldest son is still alive. Matt and Lou need to lay low out of the country for a year, to let things blow over, after which Irene will join him with the insurance money. Grover gives Matt enough cash to last him his time hiding out. Billy also gives Lou a little extra for some appearance-altering surgery. And now our dead protagonist is off to South America with a new name. More than a year has passed, and his wife still hasn't arrived. Matt tries writing to her with no luck. Lou tries calling again and again until the number is disconnected. Worried something has happened to Irene, he heads home, where he finds his house completely fixed up. Irene recoils at the sight of her husband, as she claims she has no idea who he is. Grover and Billy come out to help their wife. Matt and Lou see right through them. The two of them planned to get him out of the picture and live off of his insurance money. The cops are called, and Matt and Lou proceed to tell them the full story of their insurance scam. Unfortunately, the chief isn't buying it, as he saw the dead body with his own two eyes. Now behind bars, Matt begs the police to check his fingerprints to confirm his identity. This backfires big time, as they confirm his fingerprints match those on the murder weapon. Matt and Lou are put on trial, where the show gives us a nice director's cameo with Michael J. Fox as the prosecutor. Irene, Mrs. Vincent, Billy, and Chief McClane all testify that the man sitting in the courtroom that day is not the real Matt Hall or Lou Paloma. How could he be when the real Matt and Lou have been cremated? It doesn't take the jury long to find Matt and Lou guilty of their own murder. Matt meets an unceremonious end, as he is hanged to death. Lou can't help but get one last jab in before his demise.
Blow me.
The show gives Terry Garr time to shine, showing her developing affair with Lou's brother. She is one of my favorite comedic actresses, and it was fun seeing her take on a more serious role here. I was also delighted to see director Michael J. Fox reunite with James Tolkien, his on-screen principal from Back to the Future, who steals every scene he's in. The Trap adds a new flavor to the old love triangle plot, keeping the protagonist in the dark about the actual triangle. The Tales from the Crypt TV series has a habit of taking unassuming characters and turning them into outright jerks who deserve what's coming to them. That is precisely the situation here when they adapted Matt into Lou. Lou is so horrible to Irene that it's no wonder she dumps him. Whereas Matt, while still guilty of insurance fraud, is more harmless in his intentions, making his death at the end way more somber. We don't need a jury to decide that The Trap is a twisted tale.